What's up, family? Welcome to Creel Talk, a place where two people living out loud share insights, failures, small wins, and everything in between. Listen, no fancy studio, no professional sound bites, no AI perfected scripts. It's just us growing. Whether you're going through breakthroughs or breakdowns at the same time as we are, pop in those earbuds and let's grow together. Believe. Why do you go to work? This is a question I've asked a lot of people. Actually, I remember the first time I asked this question, I was doing a project in college, and the project required us to interview a few adults in our life asking this question. And what we wanted to figure out was the reason that people woke up in the morning and went to work, kind of the motivation around it. And so I went around and I asked 20 plus adults in my life this question: why do you go to work? The results were staggering. A large majority of them answered with some form of to pay bills or to take care of my family. And that's it. No follow up, no long term goals, no plan aside from work until they retire. They were focused primarily on paychecks. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but for me personally, I just want so much more. I think about life and this precious gift that we've been given of being able to live and experience for a lifetime or however long we're here. But based on how I believe, there's this visual I always think of where when my life is all said and done, I get to the pearly gates of heaven and my maker welcomes me in. But before I go, he asks me a question. He asks, "Hey, I blessed you with umpteen amount of years on earth. What did you do with it?" And the last thing I want to say to my maker is, "Oh, I traded it." Really? For what? I traded it for paychecks. Not me. That's just not what I believe I was put on earth for. It's gotta for me, it's bigger, it's more than the paychecks. The cool thing is a very small few of the people I had interviewed and asked this question to, a small few of them talked about chasing after their passions, being able to make enough money to sustain their life so that they can focus on their passions. This concept of passion, it's interesting. In its simplest definition, a passion is a very strong or intense desire or enthusiasm for something. Usually, when we hear people in our society right now talk about, I'm chasing after my passions, I believe what they're saying is they're chasing after what brings them the most joy. What makes them the happiest, doing the things or living in such a way to where they can experience what they believe will be the joy they could have at the highest level. For me personally, if I were to chase my passion, then that would be me chasing playing video games. That'd be me chasing watching anime. That'd be me chasing playing basketball, working out, doing different movement based arts. All while my family is fully taken care of, all the bills are paid, so that I don't feel guilty when I do those things. In essence, me chasing after my passion would be a selfish pursuit. And that's what a passion is. When somebody's chasing their passion, they're on a selfish journey. And that journey is a journey to live their best life. You've heard people say it. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I believe it's vital to chase passion because to live my passion, I need to embrace the success equation and become the best version of myself. That's so that version of me that I become is the one that is able to develop the life that allows me to live in passion. This means that I have to sustain the right mindsets, master the right skill sets, and equip and utilize the right tool sets to grow me. Here's the cool thing. Let me tell you about the one person that answered that question for me at that time, very different from everyone else. There was only one. And it was a professor. He was actually my anatomy and physiology professor, as well as my kinesiology professor. And I remember asking him this question: why do you go to work? And here's how he answered it. He answered it by telling me a little bit of his background. You see, when he was where I was at that point in life, he had a goal of being a radio personality. He wanted to host his own radio show. He's a very funny individual, has a very vibrant personality, a lot of jokes, a lot of sarcasm. And his goal, his passion was to be able to have his own show. And so the reason he went to work, the reason he got a degree and ultimately became a physiologist was to make enough money from that, to use the paychecks from being a physiologist to eventually go out and start his own radio station, which he did. And he became a very vibrant personality, very popular in the market for years until one day he developed a neurological brain disorder. He developed Parkinson's. And up to that point in his life, he lived a very active life. He's a very on the go person. He worked out all the time, had ran marathons. He was an expert at health and wellness, the human body and the condition of making it the best possible. Yet and still, he developed Parkinson's. He never drank, he never smoked, never did drugs. So he was very much thrown off by how did he develop a disease that back then was thought to be developed through bad lifestyle habits over time? And he studied it. He started to make it his mission to learn more. He started to give back to other people that had further down the path of the stages of Parkinson's. And eventually that led him to being a college professor, because you see, what he realized was his purpose. He became a college professor in order to educate and inspire young adults to how to build the right habits so that they can live a good life and avoid some of the mistakes he made that destroyed his quality of life. I remember him teaching me. I remember having this conversation. I'm telling you, it was one of the most heartfelt conversations I ever had, because as we were talking, tears were streaming down his face. And he taught me the concept. He said, you got to understand, the reason you take care of yourself is not for quantity of life, it's for quality of life. And the better quality of life you have, the better you can impact the lives of other people and ultimately the world. And that's now what he was doing. He was taking who he had become and now applying it to what he learned was his purpose. Passion, it's for you. But purpose is for everyone else. Your purpose is the thing you do to make other people's lives better and ultimately the world. To live in your purpose is to take the forever growing version of you that you've developed over time, chasing your passion, and apply it to now walking and living in purpose. That's my goal. I'm very thankful for that exercise, because it's through that I was able to understand what I was endeavoring for. I didn't want to simply just work to make paychecks. Follow me when I go back to this visual. Here's what I think. Here's be the best scenario, how I know I lived a great life. It's when I get to that pearly gate and I'm welcomed in and I get asked that question. Here's how I can answer it. I can say, I used the success equation you blessed me with to grow to my potential. Then I worked hard at different tool sets, jobs, businesses, asset development in order to earn paychecks. But I used those paychecks to chase my passion and become the best version of me, to truly live the desires that were in my heart. But as time moved on, I chased those passions and then discovered my purpose. And in discovering that, I was able to take that best version of me to live in that purpose, which that purpose was to bless and add value to as many people as I could until this very moment where I could meet you. That's what I dream, friends. And that's what I hope for anybody who believes that they're here for more than a paycheck. So there you have it. I'll ask you again. Why do you work? Is it just for a paycheck? Is it to chase after your passion? Or is it to live in your purpose? Believe.